U.S. President Donald Trump is back with a hardline trade message, warning countries across the globe of new 25% tariffs, including Brazil, Japan, South Korea, and several BRICS nations. Trump announced that these new tariffs would be imposed from August 1st, citing what he called unfair trade practices and lack of reciprocity. In Rio de Janeiro, Brazilian President Lula da Silva hit back at Trump's threats as irresponsible, adding that other countries have the right to respond in kind. Lula made it clear, BRICS does not seek confrontation, but it will defend its economic space. Meanwhile in Tokyo, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba called the 25% tariff on Japan truly regrettable. But Japan isn't backing down. Officials say they'll fight to protect their export-driven economy in upcoming trade negotiations. South Korea is also bracing for impact, saying Trump's announcement effectively extends a grace period until August, and Seoul will use the time to intensify talks with Washington. Trump's team has already sent letters to 14 countries setting the so-called reciprocal tariffs. Interestingly, China remains exempt, for now, as the administration plans a different strategy for Xi Jinping's country.
I would say firm. No, I would say firm, but not 100% firm. If they call up and they say, would like to do something a different way, we're going to be open to that. But essentially, that's the way it is right now, yeah.
Are the tariff letters that you sent today final offers, or are they negotiable?
More or less final offer.
So South Korea, Japan should take it or leave it?
We're always subject to negotiate something that's fair, but we've talked to most of the countries, and pretty much they've had their way for many, many decades, as you know. And it was time that we just wanted fairness. This is not really equitable from our standpoint because it's just a small token by comparison to the damage that's been done over the years. But we had no other president that was willing to do this. I did it in my first term with China and others. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs. No inflation, the most successful period of time that we've ever had financially in the country. The first term. I think this term is going to be much better, even much better than that. That was the best ever, and this is going to be, I think, substantially better. And we're on the way to doing that. We've already taken in over $100 billion worth of tariffs, and we haven't even started. Now, we've made a deal with United Kingdom. We've made a deal with China. We've made a deal. We're close to making a deal with India. Others we met with, and we don't think we're going to be able to make a deal, so we just send them a letter. If you want to play ball, you have to. This is what you have to pay. So as far as I'm concerned, we're done. We're sending out letters to various countries telling them how much tariffs they have to pay. Some will maybe adjust a little bit depending if they have a cause. We're not going to be unfair about it. And actually, it's a small fraction compared to what we should be getting. We could be asking for much more. But for the sake of relationships that we've had with a lot of really good countries, we're doing the way I do it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all had a great weekend. I have the signed letters that went out to both South Korea and Japan today, and there will be approximately 12 other countries that will receive notifications and letters directly from the President of the United States. And weeks ago, I stood at this podium and I told all of you that the President was going to create tailor-made trade plans for each and every country on this planet. And that's what this administration continues to be focused on. The President will also sign an executive order today delaying the July 9th deadline to August 1st. So the reciprocal tariff rate or these new rates that will be provided in this correspondence to these foreign leaders will be going out the door within the next month, or deals will be made. And those countries continue to negotiate with the United States. We've seen a lot of positive developments in the right direction, but the administration, the president, and his trade team want to cut the best deals for the American people and the American worker. That's what they're focused on. I want to go back to the trade deals. As you see, we have these beautiful letters that the president has signed. This one is to the President of the Republic of Korea, original signature on that, and these will be mailed. And then here we also have another letter to the Prime Minister of Japan as well. Both countries will be receiving a 25% tariff rate effective on August 1st.
The president announced last night that any countries aligning themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS
That's right.
will be charged with an additional 10% tariff. Can you tell us more details on that? What specific policies is the president talking about here? What policies should countries stay away from to avoid being subject to additional tariffs?
Sure. Well, the president feels, generally speaking, that that BRICS is seeking to undermine the interests of the United States. It's the president's utmost responsibility to put the interests of the United States first. That's how he views his job as president. So he's going to ensure that America is fairly treated on the world stage, and he'll take any action necessary to prevent countries from taking advantage of the United States and our people.
For now, the big question is, will Trump's tariff gamble pay off or backfire? Stay tuned.